Welcome to Coffee English. What if I told you that your worst English learning habit might actually be your greatest advantage? What if the very thing you think is holding you back could be the secret that transforms you into a master English speaker? Today, we will explore something that will completely flip your understanding of how great minds learn languages. We will discover why Nikola Tesla, one of history's most brilliant inventors, deliberately chose to sleep only 2 hours per night, and how his extreme approach to rest and learning can revolutionize your English journey. Before we continue, let me be absolutely clear. I am not encouraging you to avoid sleep or damage your health to learn English better. Tesla's extreme habits were unique to him and actually contributed to serious health problems. Instead, I want to show you how his example can help us understand the hidden advantages in our own natural learning patterns. If you have ever felt guilty about studying English late at night, if you have ever thought your irregular sleep schedule was damaging your progress, if you have ever believed that your restless mind was a weakness rather than a strength, this episode will change everything. You will learn why some of the world's most successful language learners share Tesla's unusual relationship with sleep. You will discover how your active night mind processes English differently and more powerfully than during the day. And you will understand why your insomnia might be the exact advantage you need to achieve the fluency you have always dreamed of. This is not just about sleep schedules. This is about recognizing that your unique learning pattern, the one that makes you different from everyone else, could be exactly what makes you extraordinary at English. Picture this scene from 1894. In his laboratory in New York, a tall man with wild hair stands perfectly still in the darkness. The city sleeps around him, but Nikola Tesla is wide awake. He has been awake for 22 hours. In 2 hours, he will allow himself a brief rest, then return to work. But here is something fascinating that most people do not know about Tesla. This brilliant inventor was not just a genius with electricity, he was also a masterful language learner. Tesla grew up in Europe speaking Serbian, German, and French. When he moved to America at age 28, he quickly mastered English, becoming as fluent as any native speaker. This was no accident. His unique approach to learning, the same methods that made him a revolutionary inventor, also made him an exceptional polyglot. Tesla claimed never to sleep more than 2 hours per night. However, he did admit to dozing from time to time to recharge his batteries. This was not a temporary experiment. This was his life for decades. While the world slept, Tesla was inventing the future. The alternating current that powers your home, the wireless technology that connects your phone, the electric motors that run our modern world, all of these came from a mind that refused to follow normal sleep patterns. But here is what most people do not understand about Tesla's sleep schedule. He was not trying to get more hours in the day. He was trying to access a different kind of thinking. Results presented in a study published in Science Advances demonstrated that the brain activity during sleep onset increased creativity after waking, with even a single minute of N1 inspiring insight. Tesla discovered something that modern science is only now beginning to understand. The tired mind, the restless mind, the mind that hovers between sleep and wakefulness. This mind has access to connections and insights that the fully rested mind cannot reach. Now you might be thinking, but I am learning English, not inventing electrical systems. But what if I told you that language learning and creative invention use exactly the same mental processes? What if the same brain state that helped Tesla revolutionize technology could help you revolutionize your English? When you study English late at night, when your logical mind starts to get tired, something magical happens. Your brain stops trying to translate everything perfectly. It stops worrying about grammar rules. Instead, it starts making intuitive leaps. Tesla described this state perfectly. He said his best ideas came not when he was fully awake and focused, but when his mind was floating between consciousness and rest. In this state, he could see patterns and connections that escaped him during the day. The same thing happens with language learning. When you are slightly tired, your brain stops overanalyzing every word. Instead of thinking, this sentence needs the present perfect tense because it shows an action that started in the past and continues to the present, you simply feel that I have been studying sounds right. This is called implicit learning, and it is incredibly powerful. Your drowsy brain absorbs the rhythm and flow of English without getting caught up in conscious analysis. You start to develop what linguists call language intuition, the ability to know what sounds right without knowing why. Let me give you a practical example. During the day, you might struggle with phrasal verbs. You might think too hard about whether to say turn on or turn up or turn over. But late at night, when you are reading or listening to English content, these phrases start to feel natural. Your tired mind stops fighting the strangeness of English and starts accepting it. Research shows that this drowsy state, just before sleep, is when our brains process and consolidate information most effectively. Even a single minute of N1 sleep state inspired insight, but this effect vanished if subjects reached deeper sleep. Tesla understood this instinctively. He would rest just enough to enter this creative state, then wake up to capture the insights. For English learners, this means that those late-night study sessions you feel guilty about might actually be your most productive time. When you read English articles before bed, when you listen to podcasts while drifting off, when you practice speaking to yourself in the quiet hours, you are accessing the same mental state that made Tesla a genius. The English language has thousands of irregular patterns and exceptions. No amount of logical study can memorize them all, but your drowsy mind can absorb them naturally, the way a child learns their first language through feeling and repetition rather than conscious analysis. Tesla once said, "The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention." But invention requires the kind of deep, uninterrupted focus that is almost impossible to find during normal daylight hours. When you cannot sleep, when your mind is active in the quiet hours of the night, you have access to a type of focus that most people never experience. There are no phone calls, no meetings, no social obligations. There is only you and your thoughts. This is exactly the environment that accelerates language learning. Think about your best English learning moments. Were they in crowded classrooms or during busy days? Or were they in quiet moments when you could really concentrate on the sounds, the meanings, the subtle differences between words? Tesla used his sleepless hours for what he called mental experiments. He would build entire machines in his mind, test them, improve them, all without touching a single tool. You can do the same thing with English. During those restless nights, instead of fighting your active mind, use it. Have conversations with yourself in English. Practice presentations you might never give. Tell stories to imaginary listeners. Create dialogues between fictional characters. This is not wasted time. This is premium learning time. Your focused, undistracted mind can practice English with an intensity that is impossible during the day. You can repeat phrases until they become automatic. You can experiment with new expressions without fear of judgment. Many successful English speakers report that their biggest breakthroughs came during late-night study sessions. They describe moments when suddenly everything clicked, when grammar rules made sense, when pronunciation became natural, when thinking in English felt effortless. The prefrontal cortex has less control over the amygdala in sleep-deprived brains, making the amygdala 60% more reactive. While this can cause mood swings, it also makes you more emotionally connected to what you are learning. English words and phrases become associated with stronger feelings, making them more memorable. Tesla's intense focus during sleepless nights allowed him to visualize complex electrical systems in perfect detail. Your intense focus during restless nights allows you to internalize the complex patterns of English in ways that casual daytime study cannot match. Most people think that learning requires routine and consistency. Wake up at the same time, study at the same time, sleep at the same time. But Tesla's irregular schedule taught him something different. Flexibility creates strength. When you sleep at different times, when you study English at odd hours, when your learning schedule is unpredictable, you are training your brain to be adaptable. This adaptability is crucial for language learning because English itself is highly irregular and unpredictable. English has words that sound the same but mean different things. Right and right and right. It has words that look similar but sound completely different. Enough and through and cough. It has grammar rules with dozens of exceptions. A rigid mind struggles with these irregularities. But a flexible mind, a mind trained by irregular schedules and unconventional learning patterns, adapts quickly to English's chaos. Tesla often worked for days without sleeping, then slept for extended periods. His schedule seemed chaotic, but it taught him to think creatively under any conditions. He could solve problems whether he was alert or exhausted, focused or distracted. Similarly, when you learn English at different times of day, in different mental states, under different conditions, you are building flexibility. You learn to access your English skills whether you are tired or energetic, stressed or relaxed, confident or nervous. This is incredibly valuable for real-world communication. English conversations do not happen only when you are perfectly prepared and well-rested. They happen when you are tired after work, stressed about problems, excited about opportunities, confused about directions. If you only practice English when you feel perfectly ready, you will struggle when real life demands English at inconvenient moments. But if you practice during insomnia, during stress, during unusual hours, you build the flexibility to use English anytime, anywhere. Tesla's chaotic schedule also forced him to find creative solutions. When normal resources were not available, he invented new approaches. When you study English at odd hours, you develop the same creative problem-solving skills. Maybe you cannot find English conversation partners at midnight, so you talk to yourself in the mirror. Maybe your favorite English learning app does not work offline, so you create your own vocabulary games using whatever materials you have. These creative adaptations make you a stronger learner. One of the biggest barriers to English fluency is social anxiety. Fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding foolish, fear of being judged by native speakers or other learners. This fear keeps millions of people from reaching their full English potential. Tesla was famous for his social awkwardness during normal daytime interactions. But during his long, sleepless nights, working alone in his laboratory, he became incredibly creative and productive. The social pressure was gone, and his mind was free to explore. Tesla allegedly never slept for more than 2 hours in any given 24-hour period, and this extreme schedule may have contributed to his mental breakdown at age 25, though professors warned his father about the risks. While we should not copy Tesla's extreme habits, we can learn from the principle. Removing social pressure unleashes learning potential. When you study English during late hours, when the world is asleep, social anxiety disappears. You can make mistakes without embarrassment. You can practice pronunciation without worrying about disturbing others. You can experiment with new expressions without fear of judgment. This freedom is transformative. Many English learners report that their most productive practice happens when they are alone, especially during quiet nighttime hours. They can repeat words until pronunciation feels natural. They can read aloud without self-consciousness. They can sing English songs at full volume. Sleep deprivation also reduces what psychologists call cognitive inhibition, the mental process that makes us second-guess ourselves. During the day, when you want to say something in English, your brain might generate 3 different ways to express the idea, then spend several seconds deciding which one is correct. But when you are tired, when social inhibitions are reduced, you simply speak. You choose the first English expression that comes to mind and trust that it will work. Paradoxically, this often leads to more natural, fluent communication. Native English speakers do exactly this. They do not consciously choose between grammatical alternatives for every sentence. They speak intuitively, trusting their language instincts. Sleep deprivation can help you develop similar instincts by removing the overthinking that blocks natural expression. Tesla's late-night freedom from social expectations allowed him to pursue ideas that seemed crazy to others. Your late-night freedom from social anxiety allows you to practice English in ways that might seem unconventional, but are incredibly effective. In each episode of Coffee English, we explore a powerful phrase that can transform your English learning journey. Today's phrase comes from Tesla himself, and it perfectly captures the mindset that will revolutionize your approach to language learning. Tesla once said, "The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine." This phrase contains a profound truth about English learning. Right now, in this moment, fluent English might belong to native speakers and advanced learners. They seem to own the language. They speak effortlessly while you struggle. They understand everything while you miss details. But Tesla reminds us that the future belongs to those who work for it, especially those who work in unconventional ways. Your late-night study sessions, your irregular learning schedule, your unique approach to English. These are investments in a future where English fluency will be yours. When you feel frustrated because your English is not perfect today, remember Tesla's words. The present might belong to others, but you are building something for tomorrow. Every sleepless night spent reading English articles, every tired conversation with yourself in English, every moment of practice when the world sleeps, these are creating your English-speaking future. You can adapt this phrase for your English journey. The present belongs to native speakers. The future, for which I really study, is mine. Use this phrase when doubt creeps in during late-night study sessions. Use it when you feel guilty about your irregular learning schedule. Use it when others question your unconventional methods. Your English learning journey does not need to look like everyone else's. Tesla's path to genius did not look like anyone else's either. Trust your unique approach, embrace your unusual schedule, and remember that the future you are building through dedicated work will be entirely yours. Tesla's story teaches us that our supposed weaknesses can become our greatest strengths. His inability to sleep normally became his competitive advantage. His restless mind became his creative superpower. His social awkwardness during the day became productive solitude at night. What supposed weakness in your English learning could actually be your hidden advantage? Maybe you think too much about grammar rules, but this analytical thinking could help you understand English structure more deeply than intuitive learners. Maybe you translate everything from your native language, but this bilingual processing could give you unique insights into how languages work. Maybe you study English at odd hours because of work schedules or insomnia. But these quiet, focused sessions could be more valuable than any classroom instruction. Tesla revolutionized the world by embracing his unusual patterns instead of fighting them. You can revolutionize your English by doing the same thing. Stop trying to learn English the normal way if the normal way does not fit your life. Stop feeling guilty about late-night study sessions. Stop apologizing for your unconventional schedule. Instead, embrace your unique learning pattern. Use your insomnia as focus time. Turn your irregular schedule into flexibility training. Transform your social anxiety into private practice opportunities. Here is your challenge. For the next week, instead of fighting your natural learning rhythms, embrace them completely. If you are naturally alert at midnight, make midnight your English power hour. If you think better when you are slightly tired, do your most important English practice during those drowsy moments. Keep a learning journal during this experiment. Notice when your mind feels most open to new English concepts. Pay attention to which hours produce your best insights and breakthroughs. Tesla trusted his unusual patterns and changed the world. Trust your unusual patterns and change your English. The future belongs to learners who dare to be different. If this episode inspired you to see your English learning challenges as potential superpowers, please like and share it with other learners who might need this message. Subscribe to Coffee English for more stories that will transform how you think about language learning. Remember, every great English speaker started exactly where you are now. Many of them had irregular schedules, learning challenges, and moments of doubt. But they persisted, they embraced their unique paths, and they achieved the fluency they dreamed of. Your journey with English is not a problem to solve, it is an adventure to embrace. Your unusual learning patterns are not obstacles to overcome, they are superpowers to develop. Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." The same is true for English. Do not just memorize words and rules. Feel the energy of the language. Listen to its frequency. Match its vibration with your own unique rhythm. Thank you for joining me on Coffee English. Until next time, keep studying at your own pace, in your own way, at your own hours. The future of your English fluency is in your hands, and it is going to be extraordinary. Take care and see you in the next episode.